Yeah, I think in the beginning it's about you and your circle.
Okay.
Right? You take your circle, you got the people that grind with you every day and share your dreams and slept on the floor with you, and you know, and then you make it out. And then you look and he's like, okay, what else? Right? What else? Like, how else can I be of service? You achieve these goals that you thought were, you know, unattainable in the beginning, and you achieve them. And then you look around and you say, okay, how can we duplicate this? The reason we created Roc Nation was to be able to say, okay, this is all the information we gathered. Here it is, Rihanna. Here it is, Kanye. You know, whomever, right? Like, and just like here's the information. So if we achieve those goals at 36, you do it at 26.
Jay-Z doesn't do internet beef. You'll never see him arguing on Instagram, subtweeting like Kanye, or ranting on live like 50 Cent. He doesn't need to because in hip-hop, real power doesn't scream, it whispers. The ones who run the room don't waste energy arguing. They move pieces while everyone else is busy talking. Jay learned that early. Allegedly, he doesn't even rap to win anymore, he observes. He waits, and then he quietly decides who gets to shine next.
Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
Most rappers fight for clout or respect, but Jay-Z, he fights for control. A hit record fades after the summer, but power lasts a lifetime. That's why he stopped chasing the charts and started owning them. The longer he sits at the top, the louder the whispers get in the industry. Jay-Z doesn't just have a seat at the table, he built the table. Some insiders even claim he decides who gets invited, who stays outside, and who's never stepping foot in the room again. Fans never see the real side of it.
How many betrayals we talked about with Jay? This ain't the first one, but just the first one we talking about because the only one affected us. So for me, I'm like Big Daily, everybody over. Jermaine Dupri's stupid for listening to him. That's what I think. We all know Jay. So once he does what he did, how he did Roc-A-Fella, why do you think he do anything else? That's Jay. Those principles don't mean anything. Jay runs with the bag, period. That's it. All right, cool. So if you that man, that's on you. I'm not gonna be a wet wounded duck and go, oh, this nigga, you know, he played Roc-A-Fella, he played Biggs, he played everybody. No, we all know we did that. Y'all just wasn't saying shit. We all know what Jay did and how he did it. You know, there is no more Roc-A-Fella. Roc-A-Fella was rolling. Is there a Roc-A-Fella now?
No.
Who benefited from this?
Him.
So he went that way, the way where, you know, he does things this way, and all his friends end up working for him, and I go this way where the people I love end up being my partners. But what I am mad about is I haven't seen a reasonable doubt royalty in like 10 years. I can say that. And I want to know where my money is.
The industry looks flashy and chaotic from the outside. Rappers throwing shots, calling each other out, exposing personal lives, but behind the scenes, everything important happens in silence. Private dinners, quiet meetings, million-dollar deals whispered in rooms with no cameras. Jay doesn't have to speak loud because his silence makes noise. The louder everyone else yells, the more powerful his quiet moves become. Think about it. How many rappers have gone online just to air out drama? Drake, Nicki, Cardi, 6ix9ine, Future, Megan, they all jump online, clap back, expose each other, and create chaos. It's messy, it's entertaining, it keeps fans talking, but it's also a trap.
One of Jay-Z's day ones, like one of the original Circle crew members, brothers.
30 years.
30 years. How'd y'all first connect?
Streets, man. It was a connection through a mutual.
While everyone's distracted by the noise, Jay-Z is somewhere in a penthouse, calm, calculating, and making the next silent move that shifts the whole game. Nobody in the industry dares to waste a single breath trying to diss a man who can destroy or rebuild your entire future with just one phone call. Think about that. Ask yourself why no one ever tries to cancel Jay-Z. Why nobody exposes his secrets or even jokes about him online. It's not loyalty. Loyalty doesn't survive long in Hollywood. What you're seeing is fear wrapped up to look like respect. The truth is, even the loudest, boldest, most ego-driven artists in the game crumble around him. Kanye West once went off on everybody from fashion brands to billionaires to whole countries.
My advice is just do things that are true to you. You know, most things that I'm involved with are an extension of being creative.
He built his image off challenging power, but there's one billionaire he doesn't come for anymore, and that's Jay-Z. He knows exactly why. When Kanye started calling out the industry and Jay quietly distanced himself, the energy shifted overnight. Suddenly, Kanye had fewer allies, fewer invitations, fewer open doors. The same people who used to stand behind him fell silent, not because they hated him, but because they didn't want to end up on the wrong side of the wrong billionaire. In this business, silence isn't peace, it's a weapon. Drake, on the other hand, plays a whole different game. He's known for throwing slick subliminals, Pusha T, Kendrick, Ye, even smaller names, nobody's off limits. But when it comes to Jay-Z, that confidence disappears fast. Suddenly, he's full of praise, respect, and brotherly energy. That's not coincidence, that's strategy.
Media meddles, people sue you, settle. Every step you take, they remind you to get it. So no matter how far you are, you still have that stigma on you.
Drake knows that one cold call from Jay could freeze his brand partnerships, block future business plays, and stall his dream of becoming a full-fledged mogul. He wants that billionaire seat, and Jay-Z is the gatekeeper standing in front of it. And then there's Nicki Minaj, the queen of confrontation. She's argued with Lil Kim, Cardi, Megan, Latto, Miley, the Grammys, even whole networks. But notice one thing she never crosses Beyoncé. Not even a joke. Nicki knows who the crowned queen is on stage and who the silent queen is behind the scenes. Because next to Beyoncé stands Jay-Z, a man whose presence alone demands silence. See, in hip-hop, some beefs are entertaining, some are strategic. But beefing with Jay-Z, that's career suicide. Every artist knows there are certain storms you don't summon, not because you're scared to fight, but because the cost is too high. And when it comes to Jay-Z, one wrong move could cost you everything. Now, let's talk about jealousy, the part nobody in the industry ever admits out loud. The whispers, the fake smiles, the backhanded compliments, all the gossipy energy fans never get to see. On camera, it's all love, hugs, and brother talk. But off camera, allegedly, there's envy hiding in plain sight. Some rappers don't hate Jay-Z, they resent him. Because somehow, he wins even when he's silent. He gets praised as a legend without dropping new hits, gets richer while others are hustling non-stop, and collects checks every time someone else succeeds. When Rihanna hit billionaire status, fans celebrated her like, Rihanna did it. But the industry whispered something else. Roc Nation helped her do it. And who sits at the top of Roc Nation? Jay-Z. When Megan Thee Stallion kept surviving public chaos, lawsuits, and online hate, people thought it was luck or fan love. But insiders say it was deeper, that powerful, strategic support behind her came from Jay-Z's camp. That's the kind of protection money can't buy, the kind that comes from influence. Even DJ Khaled, one of the loudest, flashiest voices in music, never really brags about his business with Jay-Z, the same way he flexes everything else. And that says a lot. When your biggest blessing comes from the quietest man in the room, you don't talk about it. You stay grateful or you stay silent. Because one thing everyone knows, Jay-Z's help can open doors no label. No manager, no brand could ever touch. But here's where it gets real messy. The jealousy isn't just from smaller artists. Some big names allegedly feel the heat too. There's a quiet competition nobody talks about because how do you compete with a man who's already won every lane? Kanye couldn't stand the idea of Jay-Z being seen as the calm, collected mastermind, while he got painted as the chaotic genius. Drake wants to be that global mogul, not just a hit machine. Future wants his legacy respected like Jay's, not just as a trap icon who runs playlists. Even Beyoncé's power shakes up the female side of the game. Some women in rap feel like no matter how high they climb, they'll never get the same level of protection, endorsement, or silent backing that Beyoncé has, and that's all tied to Jay's shadow too. At the end of the day, Jay-Z's influence makes certain artists look larger than life, and others feel small standing next to it. In this industry, power doesn't just lift, it also reminds everyone else where they don't stand. Some artists don't want Jay-Z's protection, they want independence. They want to shine on their own without anyone assuming they needed a cosign from him to make it. But that's where things get complicated. In this industry, when you're winning, people assume you're connected to Jay-Z. And when you're losing, they assume you must have done something to upset someone powerful. That's how gatekeeping rumors work. You don't need receipts, because the fear itself becomes the proof. Behind the scenes, that fear shapes everything. Artists whisper about invisible rules, quiet systems, and unspoken hierarchies. Nobody dares to move the wrong way because allegedly, one wrong move could close every major door overnight. That's how deep his influence supposedly runs, not because he says no, but because everyone believes he could. And here's where the real messy talk comes in. Some insiders believe Jay-Z doesn't just run the game, he curates it. They say he decides who gets the light and who stays in the shadows. Allegedly, he moves carefully, handpicking which new artists get exposure, and when. Not out of hate, but strategy. Because too many new stars rising too fast could shake up the old ones he's invested in. So instead of letting chaos happen, he controls the tempo. There's even talk that he only pushes safe artists, people who won't challenge his throne, won't embarrass the brand, won't disrupt his empire. And then there are those who believe some rappers never blow up, not because of lack of talent, but because they never got that unspoken green light from him. In this world, it's not always about skill, it's about timing, loyalty, and trust. Whether that's true or not almost doesn't matter anymore, because the belief is what keeps the system alive. When people think someone holds the keys, they act like it's real. And when that person is Jay-Z, you don't rebel, you play the game. You smile, you stay respectful, and you stay quiet. Because in hip-hop, silence isn't just golden, it's survival. Jay-Z doesn't need to control hip-hop, the culture already moves like he does. That's the wild part. It's not about contracts, money, or public orders. It's about fear. Hip-hop is terrified that one man might have that much quiet power, and that fear alone keeps everything in line. You don't have to yell when your silence makes people behave. You don't have to flex when your name alone makes billionaires play nice. That's the kind of silence Jay-Z built, the type that commands rooms, shifts careers, and erases names without saying a single word. It's power without chaos, control without confrontation. And every rapper, exec, and insider feels it, even if they'll never admit it out loud. That's why you never see people crossing certain lines, never hear certain stories, never see certain artists rise too fast. It's like there's an invisible ceiling, and Jay-Z's shadow sits right above it. So here's the question that's got everybody whispering. Is Jay-Z just a genius businessman, building a secure empire for the artists he believes in? Or is he something deeper, a silent gatekeeper, shaping the entire game without ever speaking up? Is he protecting the culture, or running it from behind the curtain? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video because this story isn't done yet. The tea's still boiling, and the industry's still way too scared to spill it. See you on the next one.